Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Puati. Later in the show, Nicolette Gomez will tell us about Nopalito Network, web design services that weave tradition with technology. And I'll chat with Shannon LaRance, creator of the YouTube channel So-Oh Storytime. On the phone with me is Kiona Arellanes, co-founder and president of Hopi Relief, offering assistance and relief to people on the Hopi villages. Hello, Kiona, and welcome to our show.
Thank you, Lanasha. It's a pleasure to be here. We appreciate the opportunity to speak about Hopi Relief.
Definitely. And before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and your background?
So a little bit about me. I'm the youngest of four. My mother is of Mexican descent. My father was Hopi. Like most tribes, Hopi is matrilineal, so we are Coyote clan, and our family comes from the village of Hopevilla. My grandfather comes from Munkapi, which is also on Third Mesa. So my siblings and I were not raised Hopi, so to speak. We grew up in Glendale, but our grandparents would take us out to watch the dances in the summers. Those trips made a huge impression on me as a kid, and even though I wasn't raised in our culture, I always experienced an overwhelming sense of home every time I went out there. And I do believe that it's that feeling of belonging that would later fuel my sense of duty to help Hopi people.
And kind of starting off with the basics, can you tell us what is Hopi Relief?
Hopi Relief is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that was formed as a way to source and distribute necessary supplies to the Hopi community. So by partnering with local leaders, artists, and other Hopi members, we can fulfill our mission to offer assistance to the people residing in our villages.
When and why did the Hopi Relief begin?
So Hopi Relief was established in 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. My brother Tom and I saw that Hopi was not receiving adequate supplies, so we were able to establish some connections down here in the valley to acquire what was not readily available to our people. And what we originally thought was going to be a temporary effort just morphed into what we are today. I would say it was those early trips that inspired us to continue providing food and other supplies throughout the pandemic. But once COVID began to diminish, we sort of had to regroup. We were able to kind of take a step back and explore what other ways we might be able to help. But the one thing that remains at the heart of who we are and what we do is our food program.
Wow, that's great. And it is definitely a great resource for the community. And what does the name Hopi Relief mean?
Our name is exactly that. It's a mission to provide relief to our Hopi people in various areas of life, whether it's food, COVID supplies, clothing, or a potential build on Hopi land. We are willing to explore any and all ways we may be of assistance or facilitators of projects that will benefit residents reservation-wide.
And I know in the past during COVID, we worked with you guys a lot. You guys distributed food and products at many of our vaccine events, bringing hope and supplies, and we definitely appreciate your support during that time. Can you tell us what is Hopi Relief doing now?
From the outset, Hopi Relief committed to providing relief services throughout the pandemic and beyond. Today, we do continue to hold distributions on Hopi, providing food and other supplies. We've recently concluded a pilot program focusing on traditional foods for the elderly, and this is a program we'd absolutely love to see growth in the future. And then our biggest undertaking is actually happening right now. We are in the preliminary planning and needs assessment phase of establishing a business resource center with a food pantry component on the reservation. We're able to do that with the help of a federal rural business development grant. We believe this type of physical structure can serve to fulfill a variety of needs, including food security, eventually contributing to food sovereignty.
Oh, wow, that would be a great resource for the communities. What are the footprints for Hopi?
Footprints for Hopi is a 10K and 2-mile benefit run designed to bring people together in unity and prayer. The proceeds from this race helps us with our food distribution program. For Hopi, running is a way of life. Carrying our prayers and messages, we believe it strengthens our land, our people, and our culture. This will be our 4th year holding this race, so we are really proud of that. The first year was a virtual run due to the pandemic, and for the last three, it's been both virtual and in person in Flagstaff, Arizona, among the San Francisco Peaks, which holds sacred meaning for us. We've had runners from all over the globe participate in our virtual option, so that's been really cool. We encourage runners and walkers of all ages to join us. Our participation growth has grown each year, and our race registration includes a beautiful race t-shirt, among other incentives. And registration for our virtual race ends June 20th, so that deadline is approaching relatively quickly. But our in-person registration runs through race day on July 20th, but we do encourage people to sign up before then.
Oh, wow. That is so awesome. I like how you continued with the virtual option as well. So that way anybody, anywhere can join this great event. And you mentioned it's the fourth year. So that's so amazing to hear.
Yeah, thank you.
And what plans do you have for the future?
Currently, our plans are to continue our food distributions while working towards our long-term goal of establishing a food pantry and resource center. That is really high up on our list. We have some other ideas of things that we toss around with our board, but nothing that we can share as of yet. But I mean, honestly, our resource center and is that build once it starts, that's going to be a huge thing that for us to see to completion.
Do you have any favorite success stories?
Yes. So since inception, we have been blessed by some amazing opportunities. In 2023, we were contacted by Beast Philanthropy. That's the nonprofit team of the famous YouTuber Mr. Beast. The team at Beast Philanthropy partnered with us by facilitating a $2.7 million donation of clothing from Champion, as well as hosting a fresh food distribution at one of our villages. This was such an amazing opportunity for our people, especially our youth, because many of our people, our older people didn't necessarily know who Mr. Beast was, but most of our youth did know. So the fact that he was doing something out on our reservation really meant a lot to them. We just felt very honored to be selected by them.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing to hear. Wow. I cannot believe he was able to take part of that, but I'm so glad that you guys were able to kind of share that opportunity and get more resources out of that. Is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners?
We are very passionate about this work, and it is truly a labor of love for all of us involved. It's really been inspiring to see so many different people come together in support for the community. We believe the need exists. We know the will exists, and we welcome any and all support, especially through the participation in Footprints for Hopi. We believe that something special happens when we unite through running and prayer, and we invite all of your listeners to join, whether it's in person or virtual. We have a place for them, so we hope that they can participate.
Perfect. And finally, how can our listeners find more information about Hopi Relief and to register for the Footprints for Hopi, and who can they contact for further questions?
Yeah, so to get more information about us as an organization and to sign up for the Footprints for Hopi race, you can just go to our website at www.hopirelief.org. We're also on Instagram at Hopi Relief and Facebook, Hopi Relief. So it's all relatively simple. So sign-ups are there. Any information about who we are, our mission, any questions, things like that, they can be, you can put them in there on the website, or you can contact myself, Kiona, at hopirelief.org, and I can help answer or facilitate any comments, questions, concerns. And that's the way to contact us.
Perfect. Well, I'd like to thank you, Kiona, for taking the time out to talk to us today to tell us about Hopi Relief and all of the amazing work that you guys are doing in the community.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having us on, and we are just really honored that you would take the time to speak with us.
Coming up on Native Talk Arizona, Nicolette Gomez will tell us about Nopalito Network. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Native Talk Arizona returns after this song. You're listening to North Star by Layla June featuring Quincy Davis.
Oh, my creator, helper of my soul, walk with me on this road, 'cause I can't do it on my own. No, I can't do this alone. These days I walk with an aching in my soul. With you all I know is all I have to do is ask, and you'll show me the path. Yeah, all I have to do is ask, and you'll show me the path. When I don't got no strength, you lift me up, yeah. And when I can't find my way, you are my North Star, yeah. You the one who rushes in when I cry out to the sky. Step into the field, I can feel the wind. Help me see me through your eyes, so my broken wings can fly. Help me see me through your eyes, so my wings can fly. Let me fly, ride in the wind I'm on, facing the storm. I know I'ma make it home. All I do is you help me follow the path. Remember the truth, calling us back. All I've been through to be ready for that. All I've been through to be right where I'm at. Living the proof, pick up these pieces, I'm broken and bruised. With infinite reasons, I'm grateful for you. Giving this life and each breath is anew. Finally I see through the dark at night. Follow your light. Finally I see myself through your eyes. Finally I see I can change my life. Change my life. Finally I see myself through your eyes. My heart is amazed, but I know that I never walk alone. I know that I'm gonna find my way.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Puati. Today on our show, we have Nicolette Gomez, who is the Executive Director of Nopalito Network web design services that weave tradition with technology. Hello, Nicolette, and welcome to our show.
Hi, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. And before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and your background?
So, hello, my name is Nicolette. I go by Nico. I am the Executive Director for Nopalito Network. And a little bit about my journey, a little bit about myself. I can really, I go back only about 2 years because that's when Nopalito Network really came to life, and that is where my journey, I feel, on this path began. So my background involved being a mom, being a student, being a business owner, amongst other things that life kind of puts in front of us, right? And that journey has led to what now is referred to as Nopalito Network. And that's a little bit about me.
And to get started with kind of the basics, what is Nopalito Network and the Yaqui Tech Innovation Lab?
So Nopalito Network is a web design company. So we do web design. We also tap into graphic design, app design, as well as other digital marketing components. But the reason why I started Nopalito Network was to be able to provide hands-on experience in tech to Indigenous youth living on tribal reservations. So that's why I started the business. And we realized quickly that it's going to be, we have to start somewhere. And so we decided to work with my tribe, my reservation, the Bosque Yaqui tribe in Tucson, Arizona, and we put together this program called the Yaqui Tech Innovation Lab. And that is where, Yaqui Tech Innovation Lab is actually a program of Nopalito Network, where we teach entrepreneurs that are living on the Bosque Yaqui tribe how to design, develop, and maintain their own websites for their business or their business idea.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot, I know.
No, wow, that is so awesome. And what does the name Nopalito Network mean?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I love this question because Nopalito Network is actually a metaphor. So a nopal is a prickly pear cactus, and there are so many uses to the cactus. You can eat it. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. It's resilient in the desert. And the way I see it is technology has kind of become like these components of the cactus that build on each other to make this one thing. And that's how I envision this metaphor to be translated as for Nopalito Network.
And kind of talking about the work that you guys do, what are the barriers that tribes face in accessing technology?
Yes, this is also a great question because I love this program because we're not just like helping people kind of be on a computer, right? Because you can give someone all the phones and all the computers and tablets that you want to give them, but without giving them the tools to use those things and how to use it to their advantage for their everyday lives, not just as a person, but as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as someone who has to organize events. There's all these digital tools that we're not really taught. And so that is where, that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to bridge that divide of accessing these digital tools and not just learning how to use a computer.
Oh, no, that is a great resource. Can you explain why digital inclusion is important to economic advancement?
Unfortunately, unless your business is online, you're invisible. And that is the unfortunate reality that entrepreneurs on reservations aren't really able to be a part of, right? They can't really access those things. And so there's not just the access to the global market, but also teaching people how to be efficient and more productive by using these digital tools. That is a great question. Thank you so much for asking that.
Of course. And kind of talking about your upcoming program, can you tell us about how you are providing training to the Pasba Yaqui tribal members? Yeah,
so the Bosque Yaqui tribal members are going to be involved in the Yaqui Tech Innovation Lab, which is a month-long program. So it's 4 weeks where we meet twice a week. And we're teaching entrepreneurs on the reservation how to design their own websites in those 4 weeks. And the cool thing about this program is that we're not coding at all. We're not charging at all. In fact, we're not only providing dinner, but we're providing childcare and transportation for those who need it. So we're trying to make this program as accessible as possible for our tribal members because we want to be able to take away those excuses like, oh, I can't do it because I have kids. Oh, I can't do it because I don't have a ride. I've been there. I've been in those positions. So being able to provide these kinds of things to my tribal community members is really, I feel like it's empowering to all of us.
Oh, yes, definitely. And it is definitely a big need in tribal communities. So it's amazing how you guys developed this program to help those tribal members and also implement the other areas such as childcare, as you mentioned. So that way, all areas are covered for them to take part in this 4-week training. Are your programs in person or do you offer online as well?
So this program is going to be only in person because it is only a month long, and we're having a graduation on June 29th. We don't want people to kind of feel like they can opt out and just go online. We're not just trying to build websites, we're trying to build communities, so that is why in-person programs for us are crucial.
And is there a specific requirement or who is eligible to participate in the Yaqui Tech Innovation Lab?
Yes. So our program is open to anyone who's a tribal member of any reservation, any tribe, but they must be able to drive to the location, which is actually in Tucson on the Bosque Yaqui Tribe Reservation. That is basically anyone who's eligible. And then if you have either a business or business idea, you can participate, and then we expect that our participants have basic computer skills like how to save a file, how to download something, and when to not download something.
Are they learning programming and creative or creative?
It is solely creative. So we're going to be using WordPress. So we're developing on WordPress, but we're using Elementor as a block builder. So if people are absolutely curious and want to do a little bit more with their websites, we're offering more advanced classes afterwards, but those are going to be paid. But for this program, it's mostly creative.
And going back to for individuals who want to participate, can you tell us more about the application process and the deadlines?
Yes, so we actually just closed our first application cycle today. So unfortunately, the program did close, but we do want people to stay engaged. We have like a subscribe on our website, and people that want to bring this to their reservation, we would love for people to reach out and we can work something. But for this program specifically, the application process just closed.
Okay. And for individuals that have small businesses or businesses of their own, why do you think digital presence is important for individuals who are starting their businesses?
Yeah, so in this technology-led world, if your business is not online, you're invisible. Unfortunately, that's the case. And so being able to not just have a website, but also how do you utilize that website? How do you utilize your social media accounts? Like what social media accounts you should be using? So all this is really important, and I don't think we really realize how much work this takes for one person to do. That is why we really promote accessing different digital tools to help the entrepreneur, help the business owner when they're really probably the only person running the business.
And can you tell us more about the technology tools that your program uses?
Yes, so we have 4 main softwares we're going to be using, and it's all web-based. The first is Slack for communications, and then we're going to be using Figma. It is a interactive learning tool, presenting tool, mostly for like the classroom and educating. Those are the 2 like classroom tools we use. And then for websites, we're using WordPress, and inside of WordPress, it's like an app called Elementor, and that is also what we're using.
And can you tell us about the different programs participants will get to try or learn?
Yeah, so currently this is the only program we have running, but the participants will definitely be getting a wide range of subjects in the month long. So we'll be talking about like AI, right? So learning language models and how to use them. We'll be talking about block builders. So there's all these different components to the program. But unfortunately, there's nothing else scheduled at the time.
What do you guys see for the future?
I would love to build community, like amongst different tribal communities where we have these digital tools and we're able to communicate. And like I just really want to learn from other people, and I'd be excited if more people would want to hop on board with us.
And finally, how can our listeners find more information about Nopalito Network, and how can they contact you if they have further questions?
Yes, so we do have a website, and if you Google Nopalito Network, it's one of the 5 things that shows up. So you can Google us. We also have an Instagram at Nopalito Network, and our email is grow@nopalitonetwork.com.
Perfect. Well, I would like to thank you, Nico, for coming on air with us today to tell us more about the amazing program that you guys have to offer at Nopalito Network and giving us a glimpse of what participants are able to do in the Yaqui Tech Innovation Lab.
Yes, thank you so much, Lanasha. It means a lot that you're curious, and I appreciate you having me on.
Up next on Native Talk Arizona, I'll chat with Shannon LaRance, creator of the YouTube channel So-Oh Storytime. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health's patient enrollment specialist can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or Zoom, days, nights, or weekends. It's fast and easy and can make a difference in keeping your healthcare coverage. For more information, call 602-285-9492. Native Talk Arizona returns after the song. You're listening to Bring That River Home by Ray Zaragoza and Biza.
Sand beneath my feet, salt of the earth, coming back to me, start of rebirth. Carry me, carry me, carry me to the water. Wash my body and bathe me in the smoke. Carry me, carry me, carry me to the altar. And finally, bring that river home. Bring that river home. Bring that river home. Bring that river
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. Shannon LaRance is a licensed clinical social worker and counselor. She is a founder of Indigenous Empowerment, a safe place for people to access when emotional support is needed, and the creator of the YouTube channel So'o Storytime. Welcome to our show, Shannon. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, hi. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Shannon LaRance. She'eya Ushihin Shle, Kis Ani Bushishchi, Nathlene Deshanella, Kia Ani Deshache. I am Dene on my mother's side and Hopi and Assiniboine from my father's side. I was born in Tuba City, Arizona, and lived there until I left the res when I went to college. I am the matriarch of my family and the founder of Indigenous Empowerment that is based here in Phoenix, Arizona. Like you said, I am a licensed clinical social worker, counselor, and I like to consider myself an Indigenous social visionary.
Wow. And to kind of start things off, we can talk about your Indigenous empowerment. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, of course. So Indigenous Empowerment is an organization that I founded in 2012 to empower Native individuals and families in our rural and urban communities. I'm passionate about helping people and a strong advocate for everyone to be able to have access to the same privileges as everyone else. We provide counseling, supervision for new counselors, consultation, and training to human service organizations on how the best way to support Native people, and also just to share the complexities, nuances, and beauty of our people. Indigenous Empowerment also houses my YouTube channel called So'o Storytime, which is my passion project.
And you mentioned Indigenous Empowerment is here in Phoenix. Is all the services you provide in person, or do you offer virtual as well?
I do offer in-person services, and I also provide virtual services. I do have a couple of contracts with local organizations here right now.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. And going into one of them, your YouTube channel, can you tell us more about your YouTube channel?
Yes, of course. So So'o Storytime was created initially as a placeholder for me to read stories to my grandchildren. As I shared this idea with other people, more and more people became interested in what it was that I was doing and wanted to access the channel for their own children and grandchildren. It evolved from there as more and more people started to reach out and stated that they enjoyed the stories. And they also enjoyed that we provided diversity in the books that I was highlighting.
Oh, wow. And what does the word So'o mean?
Oh, yes. So'o means grandmother in Hopi. Some people have asked me why I haven't used the word Shamasane, which is Navajo. It means grandmother. But the reason I chose So'o is because I wanted to honor my own So'o Winifred, who was a beautiful, kind, welcoming, I want to say unconditional love type of grandmother. And she always gave the best hugs, and she had the most amazing laugh. So I really wanted to honor her through the channel. And that is why I called it So'o Storytime.
Oh, wow. And I know you mentioned that a lot of your stories are very diverse. Can you tell us what kind of books you read on your story time?
Yes. So I currently read books for young readers, which encompasses mostly picture books, just because I want to make sure that they stay interested in the book that I'm reading. When I started So'o Storytime, I basically just read any books that I could find at my local stores, anything that my grandchildren had in their own library. But then as I continued on this journey, I wanted to focus on providing more diversity. So books that are written and told by other nationalities in regards to other cultures as well. I started focusing more on highlighting books that are authored by Native Americans and Indigenous authors. I wanted to make sure that these books were accessible to all children across the world, and also just for them to know that, we are still here, we still exist, and for them to learn more about our own culture. Welcome to So'o Storytime. Today we're going to be reading a book called First Laugh, Welcome, Baby. This book is written by Roseanne Tahi, who is Dene from the Navajo Nation, and Nancy Bow Flood, who lived on the Navajo Nation. This book is also illustrated by Jonathan Nelson, who is also Dene. I look forward to reading this book with you all today. Now let's get ready for story time. First laugh, welcome, baby. Baby, we wait, watching, tickling, smiling. When will we hear your very first laugh? Baby, you nap in your crib. Grandmother, your namasane, tucks you under a Pendleton blanket in your skyscraper home in the big, busy city. All week long, Papa, your najee, works welding buildings of steel while Mama is teaching children at school. Oh, look at this mobile. It has little sheep on it. Soon you wiggle and squirm, eyes open, awake. You start to smile. But then, such a frown. You are hungry. Smells from the kitchen tickle your nose. Big sister, your nade, sprinkles salt, cedar ash into bubbling blue cornmeal mush. Eat, little baby. Fill up your tummy. Then will you laugh? I wonder if he'll laugh yet. Navajo baby, Danette away. You often visit your grandparents on the Navajo Nation. From your cradle board in the shade of a pinon, you watch while your your mama, weaves bluebirds and thrushes into her tree of life rug. Ribbons of buckskin hold you snug so your legs grow strong and your back straight. Caw. Look, little baby, how Raven teases, swoops low, then soars high. Your mouth opens wide, it stretches. A smile? Oh no, it's a sleepy pink yawn. He's just getting a little tired. On my Solo Story Time, I have playlists where you can set up your child in front of the TV. And so if you wanted to read books on Indigenous and Native American authors, you can go ahead and click on that playlist. If you wanted to read books in regards to the environment and the love of Earth and Mother Earth, then you can click on that playlist. If you want more bedtime stories, you can click on that playlist. So I really wanted to categorize the books a little bit more so that people knew where to find them and what they were interested in. So we do have books on animals. With animals, we do have mythical creatures, unicorns and mermaids and that sort of thing. Some of the books that I've read and are part of my Indigenous and Native American playlist are This Is How I Know by Brittany Luby, Buffalo Wild by Deidre Haverlick, who is someone you just had recently on your show, and also a book by local Phoenix author Violet Duncan, who wrote I Am Native. And one of the things that I found important as well is that in all of my introductions, I always want to talk about their culture background, what nation they're from, what tribe they're from, how they are affiliated, just so that our children see that representation as well.
Oh, yes, definitely. And tell us about storytelling traditions and how it reinforces your culture.
Yes, of course. So Indigenous people have strong storytelling traditions. Our histories, our stories and cultural practices are passed from generation to generation through storytelling. And these oral traditions reinforce our culture by connecting our past, present, and future. It strengthens our community. It teaches our children how to behave. It teaches adults how to behave as well. And we, most of the creation stories are not necessarily written down, but are told from an elder to someone who's younger. And so it is just really important to continue to have different ways that people can tell those stories again. And I do appreciate that, currently a lot of Native artists, authors, illustrators, and poets use books as a way to be able to continue that storytelling tradition. And I want to be able to highlight that as much as I can.
Oh, yes, definitely. And where does your love of reading come from?
So as the oldest sibling to a single mom, I had a lot of responsibility as a child with helping my mom to make sure that my sisters and my brother were taken care of. And so when all of the chores were done and everybody was sort of comfortable and in bed, I would go to my books and start reading stories. I really loved reading, and I could read book after book after book. And I would take the maximum amount of books out that I could at school. And so when the summers came, it really kind of sucked because I didn't have access to as many books as I wanted. But I would read anything that I could get my hands on, the newspaper, shampoo bottles, whatever I could find. I liked reading books because it took me to faraway lands that I could only imagine seeing one day. It helped me to envision adventures that I might one day go on. It helped me to understand a world that I had not really had privy to see at that time. I remember reading a book about a girl picking blueberries, and I could just taste what they might, I could just imagine what they tasted like because I had never had a blueberry. Back in my time, fresh fruit really wasn't that accessible to people on the res. So it was really interesting to be able to read stories about things that probably everybody takes for granted at this moment. But and so this ability to travel and see the world through reading is kind of what got me hooked.
And is there a story that impacted you as a child?
Yes, there definitely is. There's a couple, but the one that significantly sticks out for me right now is a story about a little Amish girl who highlighted a lot of the different things that that her family believed in this book, and talked about living very simply and living very within their own culture, being Amish and not having access to electricity and things like that. And so that was very interesting to me because it sort of reminded me a lot of what my life was like. But one of the things that she talked about in the book was that she and her family were going on a little vacation, and they were going to this place that just seemed so magical because it smelled like chocolate, and it had Hershey Kisses for the light, the street lights. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I want to go to this place. And this place was actually called Hershey, Pennsylvania, which as an adult, my husband asked me where I wanted to go on our next vacation. And I said, I want to go to this magical place called Hershey, Pennsylvania. And he was like, what? Because he had been there before on his own, and he wasn't impressed. But anyway, I did go to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and it was magical. It did smell like chocolate, and the light posts were shaped like Hershey's Kisses. But I just remember that book really just touched my heart, just because I love that she was so adventurous and that she found beauty in the simplest of things.
And why do you think it is important to tell your children and grandchildren stories?
Yes. Well, as a matriarch of my family, I think it's important to help guide and support my grandchildren along with their parents as they learn and grow. And reading and storytelling will help with that, especially stories of our own culture and books that are written by other Native people. As we know, representation is so important, and I want them to see themselves in books, see themselves as authors, see themselves as illustrators, see themselves as anything else that they may be reading in a book, so that they know that everything is possible. And I want them to be proud of who they are and share their talents and strengths with our community as well, the way that the authors and illustrators are doing right now with us.
And do you have a favorite genre of books?
Yes, I actually do. So I read mostly nonfiction. I like to read books about human behavior. As a counselor, I love reading about people. I like reading about activism. I like reading anything that has to do with why people do the things that they do or things that are important to them. I'm currently reading a book called Living Resistance by Caitlin B. Curtis, another Native author. She also wrote a children's book called Winter's Gifts, which I've also read on my channel. But this book is about belonging and connection to ourselves and one another through everyday practices like caring for our bodies and reconnecting with our ancestors and Mother Earth. So I really like her book, and I'm currently reading that one right now. So yeah, anything that's just about human behavior, I love that.
And do you have any plans for the future, whether it be your channel or your Indigenous empowerment?
Oh, yeah. So I plan on continuing to highlight Native authors on So'o Storytime. I've also started dabbling in baby sensory videos. So I do have a baby sensory video, well, I have one right now, that has Native flute music and has Native inspired images like sheep and that sort of thing, bows and arrows and stuff. And is really nice and soothing and calming. It's definitely a bedtime type of sensory video. My two grandsons that are my guinea pigs, they have definitely fallen asleep to it after 15 minutes. My test babies fell asleep within 15 minutes of listening and watching. I would like to do more videos in regards to baby sensory. I also want to venture out into reading chapter books by Native authors for our older readers, just so that they can kind of put it on and listen to the story in the background as well. We have a lot of amazing chapter books by Native authors. I also am in the beginning phase of writing my own children's book. Just because when I was doing Native American Heritage Month in November, I was looking to read one Native book each day of the month. And I had some difficulty finding Native authors and Native illustrators that were writing books. A lot of the Native books were written by non-Native people. And even though they wrote the books with respect and, gave it their heart and soul, I'm sure, it just still is about representation. So I do want to be a Native author because a lot of the Native authors that I've been reading have really inspired me to do that. So I will be doing that this year as well.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. And I do understand that struggle because we do a lot of reading in a lot of our early childhood programs. And that is one of my struggles, too, is finding Indigenous books and for young children especially. So that is so great to hear that you are hoping to dabble in that area and become an Indigenous author yourself. And kind of going back to how you said you wanted to go into baby sensory, do you currently kind of create all of the video graphics and everything behind your YouTube channel now?
Yes, I actually do. I am a one-woman shop now. At first, my husband, who has his own IT business, was doing a lot of my editing for my videos. But as I decided to make it more of a bigger project and not just my side little project, he's taught me how to do my own editing, to do my own graphics, and to kind of put the videos all together. So I have an introduction where I introduce the book that I'm going to be reading, and maybe some heritage about the author if it's a Native author. And then I have my musical intro, and then I read the story, and then I have my sort of ending. And then, of course, promoting on all the different social media platforms is also a job in of itself. So I pretty much do everything now. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is so awesome. What advice would you give to others that are maybe wanting to become authors themselves or to write a children's book or even a chapter book?
Yes, I say that one of the things is just to familiarize with kind of what's out there right now, read a lot of Indigenous children's books, and just become more acquainted with some of the authors and what their passion is behind the reason that they wrote the books that they did. I would say also listen to your elders because they have a lot of great stories that, can be utilized in Native books for children. I also would say talk to other authors and illustrators that are out there already doing the work. When I talked to Violet Duncan, when I talked to her about that I had read one of her books and that I was really interested in writing a book, she gave me some really great advice. So I would say take the advisement of other authors as well, so that they can kind of guide you and tell you what it is that you maybe next steps that you can do as well. And also she gave me a list of Native illustrators as well that are writing. That are helping with children's books as well. So that was really good information that I wouldn't have gotten had I not told people that I wanted to write a book. So I just say, share your dream. Share your dream with other people. You will be astounded by who will give you good advice and what next steps that you can take.
Oh, yes, definitely. And kind of talking about your channel, how often do you upload stories or videos?
Yes, so I upload 2 stories a week. I upload at least one of those stories is a Native authored book. So I do 2. And if there's a special holiday, like right now it's Mother's Day was this month in May. So I've been doing a lot more grandmother, matriarchal type of books this month. So I may have a theme for the month. It just sort of depends on what's sort of happening. So during Christmas or during the holidays, I like to do a lot more Christmas books. But I also am trying to encompass a lot more other cultures and religions as well, just so that we can continue on this path of diversity, because I think that's so important. So definitely, I would do 2 books a month. I do 2 books a week right now.
Oh, wow. That is so awesome. We can definitely check that out. And where can our listeners find more information about your YouTube channel, and where can they go to view your videos, and how can they contact you if they have further questions?
Yes, of course. So you can go to my YouTube channel. It is called Soho Storytime, and it's spelled SOOH Storytime. That is where you can subscribe to my channel and you can like any of the videos and you can just watch them. Because it is children's channel, there isn't the ability to do comments or anything like that. So it's limited in that regard. But you have access to all of the different videos that are on there. I have about 120 videos right now, ranging from children's books from the age of 0 all the way to maybe 6 right now, working on the chapter books eventually. And you can also reach me on all the social media platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, all again under Soho Storytime, SOOH Storytime. And you can also email me at storytime@ieaz.org. IEAZ is short for Indigenous Empowerment of Arizona.
Perfect. I would like to thank you, Shannon, for coming in today to tell us about your story time and also about your Indigenous empowerment as well, and just telling us your amazing journey of starting your channel and all the background information with that as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, supported by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Audio editing by Javier Quiroga, and the executive producer is Susan Levy. And I'm host Lanasha Puadi. We hope you tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please email us at nativetalkaz@radiophoenix.org.